Back on the Chamber Report, time now to find out what the Board of Directors of the Anoka Area Chamber of Commerce have been up to. And we've got the big kahuna here with us, the one that leads that ship. We call him Skipper. Actually, we don't. His name is Tony Sofio, but he is the skipper. Tony is not paid to be on the Board of Directors. None of our Board of Directors are. But Tony jumped on the board a few years ago, knew the importance of what the mission was, and then took extra steps saying, you know what? I'll take a leadership role, and he has shown that leadership leading all the way up to this year where he is the top leader. We don't pay you, Tony, obviously, but you got to make money. So tell everybody where you work and what you do.
Absolutely. So I work at Village Bank, commercial banker out of the Ramsey location. Been in the industry doing it for 25 years. We are a small family-owned community bank, which is great because we understand the markets that we're in. We've seen an increase in commercial lending. I've seen a lot of refinancing of SBA loans, expansion, partner buyouts. So even with rates high, people are still doing things. As I was telling somebody earlier, they may be paying 8-9% now, but they know in about 4 or 5 years, rates will be going down. They're just going to refi. So it's not stopping business. They're still growing.
Which is great. I'm so glad to hear that. And just in looking around and seeing the growth, it's there.
Yep.
And you're right. It's like when Brendan and I bought the house. I mean, we bought this thing with the rate was 11%. Refied when it went down to 9, refied when it went down to 7. You can do the same thing with business.
Absolutely.
Well, there you go. And I bet you're a guy that could do that for me.
You're exactly right. I can. Between regular commercial real estate, SBA equipment, you name it, we can handle it.
So if somebody wanted to get a hold of you, how do they do that?
Direct dial is 763-398-3558, or they can even reach me on my cell phone at 612-597-5775.
Great. All right, so let's talk about what the Chamber Board's been up to. Boy, we had a huge meeting in January with a lot of initiatives that have started step one of many. But first, let's touch on the gala dinner.
Yep.
I know that chair people always want to have the biggest and best, and we don't have final numbers in place yet. We'll talk about this next month, but I'm telling you, you got a chance. It's been incredible.
Yes, absolutely. Just with the 380 that you talk about, Pete, people think about it as like, oh, it's a small number. Until you get up on stage and you start talking and you see everybody up there, it makes it a little bit more of a humbling situation where it's like, okay, there's 380 people here. That's a lot.
And let me tell you this, we are the envy of a lot of area chambers that do these types of events. They do not touch the number that we do. That's not a slam to them. They want it, and I try to help where I can. Yeah. But we are just ridiculously blessed with a membership that steps up and says, heck yeah, I'll come and I'll support, and boy, did they ever.
Absolutely. And, I think it's one of my favorites, to be honest with you. Since being part of the chamber over the past 3 or 4 years, we all have our different events that we do within the chamber. But this one, stands out to me the most because I think it is our biggest fundraiser that we have next to the golfing event. And I think during the winter months, people want to get out and see people. And well, granted, not too much of a winter this year, but it's nice just to get out and visit and see people and do this type of stuff.
Yeah, and the gala definitely provides that. There's no doubt. Yep. All right, let's get to some of those items that the board has started some initiative on. And this really started last September when Tony started his year as chair of the board, and we had a planning meeting. Now, you don't figure out an entire year in a meeting, but it starts the process where a lot of discussion was centered on, all right, well, let's play, let's dream. What do we want to do in this coming year? And the fiscal year for the chamber begins October 1st, runs through the end of September. That's why we had that meeting in September, so that we can hit the ground running in October. And so some of these items we're going to talk about, all of these came from that, and now it's to the point where more discussion was held and we're ready to go. And Tony, one of those, and in fact, timely with our benefit of this month with networking, is we want to see what kind of interest there was from other chambers to do a multi-chamber networking event, to really take like our networking like this and go like that.
Yep, absolutely. I think one of the things too this year, Pete, we're looking at it, my word would be growth.
Yeah.
And I think how do we do that? It's through the benefits, it's doing other networking to get more people out there and available. The multi-chamber event, that was one that was brought up that I think is a great idea. It gets us involved with other chambers and their members, and we're still promoting business to business opportunities for them. It may not be within Anoka, it could be Anoka, and it could be Blaine, it could be, it could be some of the other areas. But it's still promoting that and helping them one way or another. And it helps their chamber and helps us too as well.
Totally. And Tony, I'll throw this out. Let's say you meet somebody from New Brighton through the Twin Cities North Chamber, if they decide to participate. Would you do business with? Yes, you would. Of course you would. And that's why widening that ring, why wouldn't you?
Exactly.
And we did these many years ago, and it came up in discussion. So I started to reach out to some of my presidents in area chambers, and I can tell you I'm getting interest from them. Now, we needed to get through February. Yes, we did. We were a little dominated with those events, and so now staff has some points to do and get going. You'll hear more about that coming up. Another one of those, and I'm pumped for this event, is talking about bringing together some area high school students to talk the trades.
Yes, that's a big part of the benefits that we've talked about too as well, especially in our manufacturing sectors or just businesses in general, Pete. A lot of businesses that I've been speaking to, it's the lack of employees, lack of skill. Even before pre-pandemic, I'll focus a lot on the manufacturing because that's what it is. Had a hard time trying to find skilled labor. What were they doing? They were going to the community colleges, the high schools. No difference than what it is now. And if there's a way that we can help them out, that's great, because a lot of these students, I even know some of my daughter's classes where it's like they want to get into that manufacturing sector. They like the welding, they like to do that. And you know what, if there's a way for it to kind of us help them out, both of them, then why not? Because that's where it's part of the community.
Totally. And so what we're talking about doing is bringing together this big ideas bus. If you went to the state fair last year, you may have seen it. It's a huge bus where the student can go in and they can actually like virtually cut a piece of wood or weld something. And so it gives them an opportunity to just touch something that maybe they might have some interest in. And we're talking about reaching out to the career coordinators at all of our area high schools, seeing if we can get some students over to the office, maybe have a little mini job fair, intern fair, where some of those businesses could be in our chamber offices. Students would have an opportunity, grab a cookie, have a chat. It gives them more opportunities to look at other potential fields. And so I'm excited about this. We're looking at a fall rollout on it. More you will hear about that. And then lastly, we're always looking for new members. Boy, we've been off to a great start with our growth, but we want to have a more defined effort, and we're talking about a potential drive.
Correct. The drives work, and I believe that it's all about trying to get people out there within the community to talk to these businesses that may not already be a chamber member. You heard in my newsletter all the time too, as well, is that the benefits that we have to offer, people don't know about it unless we get out there and are able to talk to them about it. And sometimes it can be as simple as like, hey, you know what, I know this business X, Y, and Z, they are not a chamber member. Let's go talk to them and see why. And it can be even just in day-to-day conversations. If I'm going shopping and I stop into a store, oh, you're not a chamber member? Well, let's talk about it. Why not?
Right.
What can we do?
Right.
So,
all right, half your year is done.
it is, Pete.
Did it go fast or did it drag?
No, honestly, it has gone by fast, and I can really attribute that to the board that we have. It's a great group of people. I'm excited to see what the rest of the year brings for us, all the different ideas that we have, and even hanging around next year too as well, to kind of see what happens. But it does. It goes by quick. It goes by fast. I think getting past the gala point is like, well, okay, that's the peak. Now what's left after that? Well, we got the golf tournament, a few other things, but besides that, we move forward, and our vision is that growth, and I think that's kind of what the board's looking for, and that's all we do is keep moving forward with it.
Tremendous job, Skipper.
A little bit short for the skipper, but
that's not going to stick. I know it's not going to stick. All right, we're taking a break. When we come back, you like this part best. Member profiles, and we'll get into it right after this.